What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Alright guys, we have completed and taken care of all the testing for YOOSOOHYUN. That's right, we went from A0 without weapon to A5, then with weapon A0 to A5, and I've got you guys some numbers, and I want to talk about the character and what she's all about, where you want to use her, if she's worth summoning for, and why I think it'll be a grave mistake if you don't do this. Okay, we're going to talk all about that. So first off, let's show you guys the numbers. Okay, so this is from the testing from today. Now, you guys know how we do normally. Before we do that, I'll show you guys how long it took me to get her to A5. It took me 340 tickets, just so you guys are aware. This is the dollar value that I'm currently at. I actually didn't have to spend anything. I have an excess of like 500 tickets still left, which is amazing. We'll show you guys a summon video in the future. I have a summon video for my free-to-play, which, by the way, was bonkers. I think must be the luckiest account in the world. And then I have my pay-to-win account, which got really lucky here, but not as lucky on other things. And again, I'll show you guys all that. Now, if you want to see the full-on actual testing, just so you guys are aware, it is going to be located on the live stream that I just did. So you guys can always go there, check out everything. I'll put the link in the description, but this is actually going to be the live stream right here. And you guys can see right around the hour mark, we started doing a lot of the actual live stream testing and tested her out with her outfit, which, by the way, is probably my favorite outfit in the game. So you guys can go take a look at that at any time. And yes, I will be doing a full skin for Sa video as well too, so don't worry. So this is all the testing here, showing you what the best results are for free to play, where the sweet spot is for free to play, and also for pay to win, and how good she is as a unit. And then we did comparison between her and other units as well too. We compared her to Alicia, and then we compared her to Choi. Okay, very, very importantly, those two specific units, just because they kind of ran the same ideology. Cha I didn't test because I think my Cha is too overpowered, so I thought it'd be a waste of a time to do that, but I did do full testing on that. Okay, so you guys can see where everybody sits. So let's talk about the numbers and what I think about her as a character. Okay, so first off, we tested her out with a couple different things. So she was level 50 without her weapons, and then we did level 50 with the weapon. The two pieces that we gave her, or the three pieces that we gave her, was the 4-arm set for the defense penetration, obviously with the 4-piece set. We gave her the 2 curse set and then 2 berserk set. Now, I think the 4-arm set is going to be better, obviously, when the level 75 plus comes out, because she obviously scales off better with attack and defense pen. So we tested this out. Here are the stats you guys can see. Level 50, 7,418. Crit rate at 49.95%. Couldn't get that 0.5 or 0.5. The crit damage was 162%, defense pen was 15.7, and the damage inc was 1116. So here's how it worked out, okay? At A0 without the weapon, the boss had 22% HP left. With the weapon, it had 13% HP left. So it's a pretty decent margin with the weapon, without the weapon at A0. At A1, you actually had 0 seconds with a couple margin of errors. We gave it 0, so we just gave it a kill, essentially. With the weapon, there was 35 seconds left. So with A1 weapon, definitely you see a pretty big difference, and this is a good spot for free-to-play to stop. Now, that's not the best spot for free-to-play to stop, though, okay? Now, here with the A2 version, you do get 10% more defense penetration, but quite honestly, it didn't make enough of a difference. There was a kill, but it was like super, like, there's like 10 seconds left or something. It wasn't even worth it. And then here with the 58 seconds, you do see the A2 weapon actually does increase quite a bit because everything else goes up. The skills go up, the core attack goes up, etc. So the weapon at A2 is phenomenal. Now, this is where it gets crazy for free-to-play. At A3, there was 31 seconds left. So if you look at this, this is almost a 20 second difference, 21 second difference, a 31 second difference, and then from here to here, it's a 50 second difference, right? So this is for sure the best spot for free to play to stop. But of course, at A3, it's very, very costly. And I mean it, it's very, very costly, okay? So I think for now, you might want to stop here and then maybe custom draw it eventually in the future to here, okay? Now, you see here with A4, we went from 31 seconds to 50 seconds, 83 to 97, and then this was huge. A5 is massive, like huge damage increase. Okay, so for A5, you go 50, like half the time there, and quite a bit there as well too. So this is for sure the spender's best spot. I think that's pretty known. From A6 to A10, it's up to you. It's all stats related, something that will increase your stats by up to 15% on attack, HP, and defense. So totally up to you if you want to take that spending. I don't think you should personally. I think A5 is really good, unless you're planning to be like the top person in your server, or you just get lucky. That's really it, okay? Now, when it comes down to comparing her to other DPS, so we did a couple different tests, right? We did the Choi test, we did the test against Alicia, we didn't do a test against Cha because my Cha is just way too overpowered. My Alicia at least is A6, my Cha is A10. I was like, there's no point in doing the test there. And here's what we can find, okay? When we did the YOOSOOHYUN test with 4-arm, 2 curse, 2 berserk, so same stats. This time we just maxed her out at A5, and we gave her the full shebang. All of her skills leveled up, everything leveled up, right? So you see the percentage here. Her attack is actually higher than Alicia's, 15 versus 14. The precision was pretty much the same because it was the same level of weapon. The crit was honestly abysmally different. The crit damage was definitely different. Alicia had more crit damage. Defense pen, YOOSOOHYUN had 5% more, right? You guys can see that. It's a little under 5%, close enough though. And the damage increase, she had way more. She's got like 4%, a little over 4%, almost 5% as well. So 5 and 5 difference. So everything else here except for crit damage was really the big difference. And you can see here with Alicia versus YOOSOOHYUN, YOOSOOHYUN had 150 seconds left with the boss dead. Alicia had 162 seconds with the boss left. Okay, and you guys can see again, the numbers are inferior except for one thing, and that is the crit damage. All right, now take this away for a second, and people were like, you know what, Payne, put the same gear on. So we did the same thing. We took Alicia's gear off and we put it on her as well, and pretty much the stats went exactly the same. You guys can see it's pretty much the same stats. The only difference was there was a smaller difference in attack because obviously the A6 gives you the 3%. This doesn't have the 3% extra. Was too small of a margin to even matter, right? So if you look now from an A5 same gear to an A6 same gear, now keep in mind SF gear, which is solid foundation, is actually really good for Hwan because a lot of her damage comes from core damage. It was 152 seconds versus 162. So you still shaved 2 seconds off, but it wasn't enough to match Alicia. Alicia for sure was different. Now, let's talk about the best fire DPS versus the newest DPS, right? Compare her to Choi, it's like night and day difference, all right? So we did with the firing, without the firing, people just were hell-bent on it. So I said, whatever, sure, we'll do it. Because she does do some fire damage, which is one of her main attractions, is even if somebody isn't weak to fire, she does make them weak to fire by hitting them with one of her skills, and it makes them essentially weak to fire. That's so people were like, put the fire skill. Anyways, I did that, but you lose a lot of different stats, right? So I can't do a one-to-one apples-to-apple situation. I always say that. So we ended up losing attack to get some fire elemental damage. It actually ended up being exactly the same. There was no difference. So 152 seconds with the 4-piece solid foundation with a 4-piece expert, one with the firing, one without, but one also gave you more attack and one gave you less attack. So realistically, it ended up being practically exactly the same. Okay, so the 8% elemental damage versus the extra 1,000 in attack, you could definitely see that was almost the same. Okay, now when you go to Choi, oh my god, what a difference. So we did the 4-armed and 4 expert. Now, I know expert doesn't apply to him because you can't take advantage of it, so that extra attack buff is useless. So it didn't really work out that well for that one. I was going to delete this, but I just want to show you guys, just because they had similar stats all the way across the board, that Choi was like 30 seconds, even lower than that probably in terms of damage. Now, so we revamped that, right? We gave him the proper stuff. We gave him this. Now remember, this is an A10 Choi. A10 versus an A5. We gave him the 4-armed and 4 concentration of firepower, which I think is his best set for rings outside of cursed, of course, at the moment, right? So he went way higher attack, like 3,000 more attack, a little less, 2,500 more attack. Precision was a little bit lower just because he's got an A3 weapon versus an A5 weapon. Defense pen was a little bit lower. Damage increase was a little bit lower. But look at that. There's still a, like, I don't know, 12-second to 15-second difference. So Choi has really fallen off quite a bit. And this actually will explain to you guys why they're buffing him even further, because I think people notice that where he currently sits, he's just not that good, right? And she 100% takes over. So finally, what do we say here? So we're going to say the following. We're going to say it's going to be Alicia, Cha, and now Hwan as the best 3 DPS in the game for sure. For sure. She does involve a lot more investment to make viable. Alicia at A2 still kills her at her A3. So Alicia's still better in that regard. I think Alicia overall is just too powerful. Cha at A3 versus Hwan at A3. I think Cha still wins because the wall dance buffs that she gets and the damage she pulls off. But this girl is definitely a top 3 DPS unit now in the game. So the question becomes, is she worth summoning? I'm going to tell you guys what I said about Alicia. This girl is optional, but just like I said about Alicia, you're going to need her eventually for some content. Now, when Alicia came out, I said she was optional, but when WOBL comes out, Workshop of Brilliant, I told you guys the demons are going to be weak to water, so she's going to be like an essential piece for that. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the same thing about her. I think that guild bosses, when they first come out, will be weak to fire. That's my guess. It's just a guess. So I think there's going to be a place for her against guild bosses But again, I'm not 100% sure. Now, where could she usually right now be used in terms of content? The most important place I could really think of are reverse modes, where there's a fire boss like the wild beast bear, for example, right? Tank, or like any hard modes that require fired elementals. And POD, of course, that requires fire elementals. And hell, I guess Battlefield of Chaos. But they're all content that's doable without her, because I've already done it on my free-to-play, right? So, is she really good? Yes. Is she worth it? Sure. Is she optional? Absolutely. There's currently no content that requires her. But just that, it's the same thing we said about Alicia. And I can tell you guys now, from the pattern and the trending, you will see content that will come out that will require her. So again, if you want to go see the full testing, guys, you guys are more than welcome to go watch it, obviously. The full live stream is available. I was just watching Natos. Congratulations to them. Looks like they were having a blast doing that as well, with a little bit of bad luck. Here's mine. I will put the description of this in the video for you, of the current video. You guys can watch everything. I will be doing the next video on the best blessings you should go for and why they matter and what is the best ones for you to choose for your account. All right, guys, this is Payne. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.